You know, they spend all their time on nonsense, the FBI, on horrible things, and raiding Mar-a-Lago. Let's raid Mar-a-Lago, but leave the cartels alone. How about that? Think of this. I'm just thinking as I'm speaking. You don't mind if I go a little off script? No, but think. They raided Mar-a-Lago, but the cartels, they have their own Mar-a-Lagos, and those are fine. Leave them alone. Let them continue to destroy our country. Think how sick it is. Think how sick it is what's happening in this country. We're a country of investigations. We don't talk about greatness anymore. Everybody gets investigated. So all they do is investigate. And it's very much a one-way street. I never liked it because I thought it was very bad for the country. But honestly, ultimately, it comes on the other side.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. Welcome to day 624. The World Trade Organization warned that the outlook for global trade next year has darkened considerably, with multiple shocks, from higher energy and food prices to rising interest rates, which would curb import demand. World trade is now expected to grow 1% in 2023, compared with a previous forecast of 3.4%. Meanwhile, a coalition of oil-producing nations led by Russia and Saudi Arabia agreed to cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day. It's the biggest production cut in more than 2 years and represents about 2% of global oil production. The White House called the decision by OPEC short-sighted and unnecessary. In response, the U.S. said it would lease 10 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Biden and European leaders had urged more oil production to ease gasoline prices caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Oil prices have fallen to roughly $80 per barrel, down from more than $120 in early June. OPEC, however, wants to keep crude prices above $90 a barrel. Back in the U.S., mortgage rates jumped to a 16-year high. Rates have increased by 1.3 percentage points in the past 7 weeks, with average 30-year fixed mortgages now at 6.75%, the highest since 2007. Mortgage applications, on the other hand, fell by 14.2%. Moving on, a federal appeals court granted the Justice Department's request to expedite its challenge of the appointment of a special master to review documents recovered by the FBI from Mar-a-Lago. Last week, the DOJ asked the Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit to fast-track its appeal, saying that its inability to access the non-classified documents was impeding their investigation. Trump, meanwhile, publicly claimed that one reason the FBI found boxes of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago was because federal workers were responsible for packing up the White House. A Freedom of Information Act request, however, revealed that Trump's transition team was responsible for putting the boxes on pallets and shrink-wrapping each pallet. The General Services Administration was only involved in facilitating the shipping of the items. Meanwhile, the Republican nominee for a Georgia Senate seat, who has called for a total ban on abortion, paid for his girlfriend's abortion in 2009. Herschel Walker wrote the woman a check for $700 and mailed it inside of a Get Well card that read, quote, "Rest, relax, recover," end quote. While Walker has denied the report, his team and top Republicans in the Senate knew of the allegation months before it surfaced, did nothing, and hoped that it wouldn't come out before the election. Top Republican leaders, the Republican National Committee, and Donald Trump have reaffirmed their support of Walker. And finally, Dr. Mehmet Oz, the Republican nominee for Senate in Pennsylvania, killed over 320 dogs, 31 pigs, and 661 rabbits and other rodents between 1989 and 2010. The magazine Jezebel reviewed 75 studies published in academic journals by Dr. Oz, who was the principal investigator at the Columbia University Institute of Comparative Medicine labs at the time, and they found that experiments had been conducted on at least 1,027 live animals. When Newsweek asked the Oz campaign for a comment, spokesperson Barney Keller replied, quote, "Only the idiots at Newsweek believe what they read at Jezebel," end quote. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.
I remember a very famous pollster, very well-known, John McLaughlin, came to my office just prior to the plague coming in. He said, "Sir, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came alive from the dead and they formed a president, vice president team, you would beat them by 40%.